The day before my wedding, I was standing in my kitchen ironing a shirt I was not even going to wear, because nerves make you do dumb, productive things, when my phone buzzed and my best friend Matteo texted, "Do not leave the house. I am coming right now. Bring the folder." I texted back what folder, and he replied with a single word, proof, and that was the first time all week my excitement blinked and turned into something colder. Because Matteo is not dramatic. Matteo is the guy who keeps spare jumper cables and remembers everyone's birthdays. He does not use the word proof unless someone is about to get hurt. I opened the front door before he even knocked. He walked in like he had been running, though. I knew he parked 2 steps from my porch. His face was pale and set like he had swallowed a nail. He said my name the way people say it at hospitals, and I tried to joke because that is my reflex. I said, "If this is about the bachelor party, I swear I did not cry during the montage." He did not smile. He just held up his phone and said, "You need to sit down." I sat. Not because I wanted to, but because my knees suddenly decided they were on strike. The kitchen still smelled like coffee and lemon cleaner. The wedding invitations were stacked on the counter like little promises. Matteo pulled out a manila envelope, thick, corners bent like it had been opened and closed 100 times. He slid it across the table but kept his hand on it, like he was afraid it might explode. He said, "I found out something about Ava, and I heard my fiancée's name and my brain tried to protect itself by turning the volume down." I said, "Found out what?" he said. "She has been seeing someone else." For 6 months, my first reaction was not rage. It was math. Because 6 months is a long time to pretend you are building a life with someone while also running a secret second life. I stared at the envelope and said, "No," Matteo said. "I did not want to be right. I wish I was wrong." Then he opened it and started laying things out in a neat line like he was preparing evidence for court. Printed screenshots, a shared calendar screenshot, a bank statement page with certain charges highlighted, and a folded piece of paper that looked like a receipt from a jewelry store. I picked up the first screenshot. It was a text thread. The contact was saved as C. The messages were not romantic in a movie way. They were efficient and smug. "Meet at the Hyatt. Bring the blue dress. He is busy with wedding stuff anyway." And a reply, "I like when you lie to him." I felt my throat tighten. I wanted to say this is fake, deep fake, Photoshop, anything. Matteo pushed his phone toward me and opened the same thread, the same names, the same little timestamps. He said, "It is from her iPad. She left it unlocked at Jenna's house. Jenna saw it, panicked, called me, and before you ask, yes, I checked. It is her Apple ID, her photo stream, her notes, everything." My hands started to shake, so I set the phone down like it was hot. I said, "Why would she do that?" And Matteo said the part that changed the air in the room. "She is doing it for your money and the house." I laughed once, a sharp, ugly sound. Because I have heard of gold diggers and scammers, but I never pictured myself starring in that kind of cautionary tale, I said. "Ava makes her own money. She is a marketing manager. She buys her own stuff." Matteo leaned forward and tapped the bank statement. The highlighted charges were not just hotels. They were cash withdrawals and wire transfers, small enough to hide, regular enough to look like a habit, he said. "Look at the destinations." I looked. Each transfer went to an account name I did not recognize. Then I saw the note beside one. "Rent," and my stomach flipped. Matteo said, "Now look at the receipt." I unfolded it. It was from a men's boutique across town. A jacket, shoes, and a watch. Total just under $3,000. Paid by card. The last 4 digits matched Ava's card. And under that, a note in the cashier line. "Gift for C." I stared at it until the words blurred. I could hear the refrigerator hum, my own breathing, the distant lawnmower outside like the world was still casual and normal, Matteo said. "There is more," I said. "How do you know the house part?" He pulled out a printed email draft. Not sent, but saved. Subject line, prenup concerns. And in the body, Ava had written to someone, "I need to get him to drop the prenup request. After the marriage, I can claim half. The house is in his name, but that will not matter. Keep me calm until after the wedding." My vision tunneled. I wanted to throw up and also laugh and also teleport back 6 years to the first day I met her at that crowded trivia night when she corrected my answer with a smile. I whispered, "That is not her. That is not her voice," Mateo said. "It is from her email drafts folder." And then the twist that made it worse, he said. "The man is not random." "I know who he is," I said. "Who?" Mateo swallowed and said, "It is Derek Kane, my realtor, the guy who helped you buy this house, the guy who knows every inch of your finances because he watched you sign the papers." And suddenly every memory rewired itself. The way Derek shook Ava's hand a little too long at the housewarming. The way he laughed too loudly at her jokes. The way she said he was just a charming salesman. My mouth went dry, I said. "You are telling me the person I trusted with my biggest asset is also the person she is using to strip mine my life." Mateo nodded. Then he said quietly, "And they are not just cheating. They are planning. There is a message about getting you to add her to the deed after the wedding." My head lifted like a puppet. I said, "She asked me about that last week. She said it would make her feel secure. I thought it was sweet," Mateo said. "That is why I am here. Because tomorrow you will stand in front of everyone you love and legally hand her a knife made of paperwork. And I will not let you do that." I sat back and stared at the invitations again. All those names, my parents, her parents, our friends, people flying in, deposits paid, a caterer expecting a final check, and somewhere inside me something clicked into place. Not anger first, not heartbreak first, but clarity, I said. "Okay." And Mateo blinked like he did not expect that. I said, "Okay, we are not begging, we are not yelling, we are not doing a dramatic scene that makes her the victim. We are going to be smart." Mateo exhaled like he had been holding his breath for an hour, he said. "I was hoping you would say that." Then he opened his notes app and turned the screen toward me. It was a list, timestamps, places, names, and one line circled twice. "Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Derek arrives at venue early, drop off." I looked at that line and felt my pulse settle into a steady beat. I said, "If Derek is showing up tomorrow, then we can catch both of them in the same net." Mateo nodded and said, "And we can do it without breaking a single law." I leaned forward, pulled the envelope closer, and said, "Tell me everything you have. Because if Ava thinks she is walking into a wedding, she is actually walking into a trap. We are going to set with a smile," and at that exact moment my phone buzzed again. A text from Ava. "Babe, I cannot wait to marry you tomorrow." And right under it, a second notification, unknown number. "You do not know me, but you need to check your garage camera right now." I looked at Mateo. He looked at me, and we both stood up at the same time. Because whatever was on that camera was about to decide how this ended, and I was done being the last person to know what was happening in my own life. I opened the garage camera feed with my thumb shaking just enough to make me miss the icon twice. The screen loaded. Gray night vision, my car, the shelves, the folding ladder. Nothing dramatic at first. Then the time bar showed it was not live. It was a clip from 20 minutes ago. And there she was. Ava. In my oversized hoodie, moving like she owned the place because she did, emotionally anyway. She walked straight to the cabinet where I keep the house documents, the one she calls my boring box. She knelt, pulled out the small fire safe, and I watched her try the keypad. 3 wrong attempts, a pause. Then she typed something that made the safe click open. My stomach went hollow. Mateo leaned in and whispered, "She knows the code." I whispered back, "I never told her." Ava lifted a stack of papers, snapped photos, then slid something into her purse. A thin folder. The clip ended with her closing the safe and smoothing the cabinet door, like she was erasing fingerprints. I stared at the last frame until my eyes burned. Then I tapped the unknown number. "No answer," I texted. "Who is this?" And the reply came fast. "Someone who hates Derek Kane. Someone who does not want you ruined." "Check the folder she took," I typed. "Why help me?" And the reply was a simple, "Because he did it to my sister." My throat tightened again, not sadness, fury with a zipper on it. Mateo said, "Okay, now we know 2 things. She has been inside your documents, And someone out there is watching Derek, I said, or watching Ava, which is worse. Then I did the most annoying thing I do when stressed. I started organizing. I walked to the cabinet, opened it, and everything looked normal. Too normal, like when a hotel room looks untouched, but you can tell someone sat on the bed. I opened the safe. The deed and mortgage paperwork were still there. The insurance binder, my passport, our saved receipts. Then I noticed a gap where the home appraisal packet used to be, the one with every detail about my equity and loan balance. That folder was gone, Mateo said. She is building a file, for Derek or for a lawyer, or both. I sat back on my heels and stared at the safe keypad. Then the new twist hit me like cold water. If I never told her the code, how did she open it? I said that out loud. And Mateo looked toward the hallway, toward my office, and said, "Do you still use the same 4 digits for everything?" I said, "No." Then I remembered, yes, I did. Not for everything, but for one thing, the last 4 digits of my old employee ID, a number Ava saw once when we were sorting tax forms. My chest tightened with humiliation. I made it easy. I handed her the tools and she did not even have to steal them. Mateo stood up, paced, then stopped and said, "We have to lock down your life tonight." I said, "Agreed." And for the first time all day, I felt something steadier than shock, focus. Mateo pulled his laptop from his bag like he had prepared for this. Because he had, he said, "Step 1, change passwords, all of them. Email, banking, camera system, cloud storage, any shared devices. Step 2, freeze your credit. Step 3, quietly move anything essential, documents, valuables, to a place she cannot access. Step 4, tomorrow we do not confront, we document, and we redirect the narrative." I nodded and started doing it. I changed passwords while he walked me through credit freezes. My hands moved on autopilot. My brain replayed Ava in the garage, her calm efficiency, how she did not hesitate, like she had done it before. And that thought opened another door in my mind. I said, "Mateo, how did you even get those screenshots? You said Jenna saw the iPad, but why was Ava's iPad at Jenna's?" Mateo paused, then said, "Because Ava was at Jenna's yesterday for a bridesmaid thing, and she left in a rush when she got a call, and Jenna said she seemed nervous." I said, "Who called her?" Mateo said, "Derek, I heard it on the speaker for a second. Because Ava forgot to turn it off. She said she would call him back, but she left the iPad behind." I felt my jaw tighten, so she was sloppy. Not because she felt guilty, but because she was juggling too many lies. That meant tomorrow she might make another mistake. And mistakes are windows. My phone buzzed again. "Ava, can you pick up extra champagne?" "I forgot to confirm the delivery, sweetie, please." And the sweetness made me feel like my teeth were grinding. I replied, "Sure." Then I looked at Mateo and said, "If she thinks I am running errands, she will not suspect anything." Mateo nodded. Then he said, "About tomorrow, you said trap." I said, "Yes, but not a circus. I want something clean, legal, undeniable. Something that makes her choices visible to everyone without me acting like a villain." Mateo leaned on the counter, eyes sharp, and said, "What do you value more, your reputation or your closure?" I said, "Both. But if I have to choose, reputation, closure is for therapists and journal pages. Consequences are for real life." Mateo smiled for the first time. "A small, proud thing," he said. "Okay. Then here's the plan I started building before I even got here. And I need you to trust me," I said. "I already do, but tell me anyway." He opened his notes and showed me 3 headings. Wedding, house, Derek. Under wedding he had, switch the efficient script, add a legal statement, have witnesses, record everything. Under house he had, meet with lawyer, lock deed changes, send notice to realtor firm. Under Derek he had, lure him to the venue, confirm his presence, confirm contact, then the line that made my eyebrows lift, bring the envelope and the projector. I said, "Projector," Mateo said. "You wanted undeniable. We do not need to humiliate her. We need to expose the truth calmly, in a way she cannot twist into. He was crazy. He is controlling. We show facts, dates, messages, and we do it with witnesses." I stared at the list and pictured the venue, the little garden arch, the chairs, my family, her family. And I felt a flash of sadness so quick it was almost a glitch. 6 years, vacations, holidays, inside jokes. The way she used to tuck her hair behind her ear when she was thinking, all of that. And tomorrow it ends with a slideshow. Life is absurd. Mateo touched my shoulder and said, "You okay?" I said, "I am fine." And I meant it. Because dignity is a decision. Then the unknown number texted again. "Derek is coming tonight. He is meeting her at the hotel by the airport, room 614. They are talking about the house." I stared at the message, room number, specificity, and my brain screamed danger. Not physical, but legal. If they were signing something, planning something, moving money, we needed to know. Mateo read over my shoulder and said, "We do not go there." I said, "I know. But we can send someone." And he raised an eyebrow. I said, "Not a spy movie, just a reality check. We can call the hotel and ask to confirm a reservation name. Or better, we can document our own assets now, take photos of every document, inventory, secure accounts. Then tomorrow we confront with counsel ready." Mateo nodded. Then he said, "Also, we can call Derek's firm and ask a simple question, as you, whether any paperwork is pending. If they say yes, we have timing, and timing is leverage." I exhaled slowly. Then I did something that surprised me. I opened my contacts, found Ava's mom, hovered, then stopped. Not yet. Not before I had my footing. I would not detonate the family group chat like a teenager. I would do this like an adult, calm and surgical. I looked at Mateo and said, "We need one more piece, something that ties Ava to Derek in a way no one can explain away as friendship, because she will try. She will cry and say it was a joke, or a misunderstanding, or a prank." Mateo nodded. Then he said, "The venue has security cameras, and Derek is scheduled to arrive at 10 a.m. If Ava goes to meet him, we will have footage," I said. "And if she does not, we still have the texts and the email draft." Mateo said, "Yes, but I want the cleanest chain, and I think we can get it tonight without leaving your house." I said, "How?" And he pointed at my home Wi-Fi dashboard on his laptop, device list, Ava iPad, Ava phone, connected earlier, and I felt another chill. Because if her devices had ever synced here, some data trails might still exist. Mateo said, "We are not hacking. We are looking at what your own network logged, connection times, IP, the moments she was home while telling you she was elsewhere, timing mismatches, the kind of boring digital breadcrumbs that destroy lies." I nodded. Then my phone rang, Ava's name lighting up the screen like a dare. I answered with my calmest voice. "Hey, babe," she said. "Why do you sound weird?" I glanced at Mateo, then at the wedding invitations, then at the open safe. I said, "Just overwhelmed. Big day tomorrow?" She laughed softly and said, "I know. I love you." And I said, "Love you too." Because I was not going to give her the satisfaction of sensing fear, she said, "I might stay at Jenna's tonight. Last-minute girl stuff. Do not worry." And my mind locked onto the lie. Jenna had already been the place she slipped. I said, "Sure, have fun." Then she added, "And do not forget the champagne." And I said, "I will handle it." When the call ended, Mateo stared at me and said, "She is not going to Jenna's." I said, "No, she is going to room 614. And as I said it, my doorbell camera pinged, motion detected, front porch. I tapped it, and the screen showed a delivery guy holding a long garment bag, and behind him, in the driveway, Ava's car rolling in slow, like she had changed her mind, like she had decided to come home after all. And Mateo whispered, "She cannot know you know." I whispered back, "She will not." Then I forced my face into neutral and walked to the door, because the next twist was already here, and it was wearing my fiancé's smile. I opened the door like nothing was wrong. The delivery guy handed me the garment bag and said, "Signature, please." Ava stepped up behind him, smiling too wide. She said, "Surprise, I forgot my earrings." Her eyes flicked to Mateo for half a second, then back to me. I signed, thanked the guy, and closed the door. Ava kissed my cheek, quick and careful. Like she was checking a box. Then she pointed at the bag. "What is that?" I said. "Tuck stuff, last-minute swap," and I watched her relax because the lie was easy and familiar. Mateo played his role perfectly, friendly voice. "Hey Ava, just helping with tomorrow." Ava laughed. "Oh my God, you are a saint." Then she slipped past us toward the hallway, and I followed casually, not chasing, just present. She opened the bedroom door and went straight to the nightstand. Not the jewelry box, the drawer under it. The one where I used to keep a spare key and now kept nothing important. She rummaged anyway. Then she said, "Weird, I cannot find them." I said, "Maybe Jenna has them." And her smile twitched, because she was not going to Jenna. She was testing if I believed her. She tried another angle. "Babe, can you send me the garage safe code again, just in case?" I leaned on the door frame and let a beat pass. I said, "Why would you need that?" She blinked, then laughed too fast. "For the champagne receipt, I might need it for the refund." I nodded slowly like I bought it. "Sure, I will handle it tomorrow." And I watched her swallow frustration. Mateo coughed and said, "I can run to the store with you if you still need champagne." Ava lit up. "Yes, actually, that would help." And I understood. Mateo was offering to separate her from me, to see where she really went. Ava grabbed her purse, and as she turned, I saw the corner of a folder inside, cream-colored, like my appraisal packet. My heart stayed calm because panic is a gift to liars, I said. "I will stay and finish calls. You two go." Ava squeezed my hand. "Love you." Then she and Mateo walked out together, and the second the door shut, I locked it, pulled up the camera feeds, and opened my laptop to the Wi-Fi logs, because now I had a clean window, and I was going to use it. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number again. "Do not let her leave with that folder. She is meeting Derek in 20 minutes. And I whispered to my empty living room. "Not if I get there first." I called Mateo, and he answered on speaker in the car. Ava's voice was bright beside him, asking which store had the good champagne. I kept my tone normal and said, "Hey, quick thing. I need the folder in Ava's purse, the appraisal packet. I need it for the venue insurance binder." Ava went quiet for half a breath, then said, "What folder?" I chuckled. "The boring house one you always steal to tease me. Bring it back." Mateo said, "No problem. We will swing by in 2 minutes." I hung up and immediately checked the driveway camera. Their car did not turn toward the store. It turned toward the highway. I smiled once, not happy, just confirmed. Then I grabbed my keys and drove my older truck, the one Ava hates because it looks like responsibility. I stayed 3 cars back when I spotted them. I followed them to the airport hotel, and when they parked, I parked across the street by a coffee shop. I watched Ava step out, folder in hand now, no hiding. She walked inside like she had an appointment. Mateo stayed in the car and texted me. She lied, "I am staying close." I texted back, "Do not go inside." I walked into the lobby like any guy grabbing caffeine. Then I sat where I could see the elevators. At 9:48 p.m., Derek Kane walked in. Crisp jacket, smug walk, and he did not even look around. He went straight to the elevator bank like he owned the building. Ava appeared from the hall and met him by the buttons. They leaned in, too close, and I took a photo, then another, then the elevator doors closed on them together. I exhaled slowly, timing, faces, proximity, no speculation, just fact. My phone buzzed, Ava calling. I let it ring. Once then answered, "Hey babe, where are you?" she said. "At the store, Mateo is paying." The lie was so smooth it almost deserved applause. I said, "Nice, grab the rosé too," and I ended the call before she could ask anything. Then I walked back to my truck and called my lawyer friend Nina. "The only person I know who can make panic sound like a checklist," she answered, and I said, "Wedding tomorrow, possible fraud. I need options tonight." She said, "Email me everything now, and do not sign anything, and do not let her sign anything in your name," I said, already on it. And while I sat there watching the hotel windows, a notification popped up from my home cameras, motion in the garage again, and my blood went cold, because Ava was supposed to be at the store, and yet someone was at my house. I opened the garage feed and saw a man in a hoodie moving fast. Not Ava, taller, heavier. He went straight to the cabinet, tried the safe, failed, then yanked the whole fire safe like it was a lunchbox. My chest went hot. I zoomed in and caught a glimpse of his wrist. Derek's watch, the same one from the boutique receipt. I whispered, "You have got to be kidding me." I called Matteo. He answered instantly. I said, "Derek just left a decoy. Someone is stealing my safe right now." Matteo swore under his breath. "Ava is in the elevator with Derek," I said. "I am heading home. You stay on her." Then I called 911 and reported an active burglary. Then I started the truck and drove like every red light was a suggestion, because tomorrow was not the only thing they were trying to take from me tonight. When I got home, police were already in my driveway, blue lights washing my wedding banners into sad colors. The garage door was half open, the cabinet ripped apart. The safe gone. I showed the officer the live clip, pointed at the watch, the build, the route, and my Wi-Fi logs that proved Ava's phone was not near my house while this happened. Clean contradiction. Matteo texted, "Derek is back in the lobby. Ava is pretending to shop. She just bought nothing and is walking out with the folder." I sent that to Nina and she replied one line, "This is conspiracy and attempted theft. Cancel the ceremony. Do it publicly with documentation." I looked at the officer and said, "I want a report number now." Then I turned toward my front door, because I was done protecting her image more than my future. Morning came sharp and bright like it wanted drama. I went to the venue early with Nina on the phone and Matteo beside me. The coordinator tried to smile and I said, "We are changing the program." I asked the DJ for the mic and the projector. Then I greeted guests with steady hands. When Ava arrived in white, she looked radiant and fearless until she saw the police report in my hand. I told everyone calmly that the wedding was canceled. I showed time-stamped messages, the email draft about the prenup, the hotel photo of her with Derek, and the burglary clip with that same watch. Ava tried to cry, Derek tried to leave, and security stopped him while officers took statements. The room stayed quiet in the way truth makes people quiet. Ava's mother stared at her like she had never met her. Ava whispered my name like I owed her mercy, and I leaned in and said, "You wanted my house. Congratulations. You can watch me keep it." Then I walked out with my keys and my dignity, and the best part was how peaceful the air felt when the doors closed behind me.